Welcome to the WARE School Committee meeting for Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. Regular business meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing up, approval of warrants and payroll for Wednesday, July 30th.
Make a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for Wednesday, July 30th.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Approval of minutes for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, regular business meeting. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion to approve the minutes for the regular business meeting from Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025.
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor? Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
New business. Vote and develop criteria for determining interim superintendent interviews. We have is I sent an email out. We cannot discuss people's names tonight. What we have to do, this comes from legal, we have to develop criteria to, based on our qualifications. And what I did was I put the present, I sent out an email in and I put down the present posting and the proposed criteria for the interview section. Once we vote on those, it is suggested that I go through the list of resumes and pick the people that will meet our criteria to send those on for interviews. At that point, once we have those people and we can set them up with an interview, some people may withdraw, some people may decide, I don't want to do this. And so at that point, we can set up interviews, which I'm looking for next week, and those people's names can be announced. So, our present posting now has licensed or eligible for license as a superintendent of schools in Massachusetts, master's degree required, advanced degree preferred minimum of 10 years in education, including teaching and central office and or administrative experience and 5 years teaching experience. What I'm proposing for our criteria for interviewing is that they presently are licensed or able to obtain a waiver as a superintendent in Massachusetts. In case anybody's wondering about the waiver part, when superintendents retire, they're still eligible to be an interim, and they just have to, it's a simple thing just to get a waiver. So that is obtained within a day or two, so that's not a big deal. They are technically still licensed, but the state wants a waiver because they're retired. If any of that makes sense.
No, it makes
That's
sense
the
because
state.
they're collecting a pension,
Yes,
I assume,
yes.
so they need a
it's sort of a way to
waiver to
report
work.
that they're working and that type of thing. So, pretty simple thing to do. Master's degree is a minimum of 10 years in education, including teaching and administrative experience. And the last thing would be a previous experience as a superintendent in Massachusetts. I think that one goes without saying. The thing is, if you're a superintendent in Florida, the laws are vastly different in Massachusetts. Therefore, it behooves us to have someone who's familiar with Mass laws and the way the DESE runs and everything that goes along with that, as opposed to someone who's from Florida.
Especially since we're up against that NEASC accreditation.
Yes.
We need someone that's familiar.
They're familiar with it and
that.
understands what that's all about. That's a very good point. That's true. So,
The only thing I would add to this list is I don't pretend to know how negotiations go when it comes to hiring a superintendent, because I obviously have never done it. But I know sometimes travel expenses and things like that come up. Obviously, we are not interested in paying for someone to move here or to this area. I don't know if we've done that in the past, where people have come here and they've asked, like, for us to cover their moving expenses.
We've
Good
never
question,
done
I
that.
don't remember, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it might be less of an issue when you get somebody who's rather local and in
Right.
Massachusetts. I don't think it.
Right, I just don't want them to be like, well, I'm going to
Yeah.
commute from, I don't know,
East Oshkosh.
yeah, I'm going to commute from
Pennsylvania.
somewhere every day, so I want you to pay for my gas.
What will happen,
We've never done that.
what will happen is we will interview people and then debate who we want to hire. At that point, there becomes another phase, which is brief, which would be negotiating a contract. That contract would be negotiated, which would then could include something like that and other things.
Okay,
And then that contract, what's normally done is the contract is done with the lawyer and usually the chair. But that contract, once it has been agreed by the other party and once it's put together, comes back to the committee to be voted on before anything is finalized.
Got
In
it.
other words, until we vote on that contract, as much as we've said you got the job and everything else, you do not have the job until we vote on that contract and that you're hired.
got it.
In the meantime, between the interviews and that taking place, where we've agreed to someone and then to the point of voting on the contract, all the licenses will be double checked. Corey checks, fingerprinting, and everything else that needs to be done will be done before we get to the contract signing. So that way we know that there's nothing out there that we're waiting on.
Got it.
We won't vote on it until everything comes back. So that's how that will work.
Great, thank you for that.
It's probably better to do it here than in an email because that's a lot of typing to do. But
Yeah, for sure.
that is basically the process that we have left to hiring an interim. So, that being said, do we agree to the proposed criteria for interview selection? Any questions, any debate? Any?
Could you just summarize it once more? So we're going with an individual who's currently licensed. I don't think that's a bad idea
Or
whatsoever.
retired and needs a waiver.
Or
Right.
retired and needs a waiver? Okay.
Yes. Master's degree, minimum.
Yep.
Minimum of 10 years in education, including teaching and administrative experience, and previous experience as a superintendent in Massachusetts.
I think that's
that can either
crucial.
be a full-blown, if you want to call it that, a full-blown it's a superintendent for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, or it can be, there are some people that have applied that have done interim along the way or recently, and therefore they're familiar with being a superintendent and are licensed as well. So,
Do we need to vote on this?
yes, we do.
I move that we approve the proposed criteria to lessen the pool to figure out who we're going to interview as proposed here.
Do we have a second?
One second.
All in favor? Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Now, we need to have someone set up based on the criteria. Pick the names. Basically, it's picking the names of those that we will be interviewing. And legal has proposed that it be the chair.
Makes sense.
So,
Would it be fair for, once you've narrowed the field, is it appropriate for you to send us the list of names that meet the
Yes.
criteria? And
Yes.
for us to reply and say, like, as I was looking through these, like, this person stood out to me? Is that
yes,
appropriate?
feedback is not, is acceptable.
So, like, if I see the name of a
If you've looked at
person-
all the
yeah.
resumes and say,
I've got like a top two.
say top 2,
Yeah.
could be a top 4, could be a top 2, then that feedback is, yes, very much sought after because As much as I've gone through these, spent hours going through them.
Same.
And picking them apart and questioning in my mind.
Lots of Googling. So if you send the list and there are 10 names on it,
Right.
and it's appropriate for me to email you back and say,
Email me back.
the top 2 people that I had were these people, and I
Yes.
see that they're on your list.
So we make sure that they are on the list, and
Okay.
they're something, it doesn't mean that I can't miss something.
Right.
But yes, because I generally do want feedback that, like I said, in case I miss something or in case something jumps out at somebody. And so, yes, we can entertain, more than entertain, yes. Feedback is very much welcome.
Okay, got
We
it.
do that. It's just that way will then coordinate with Katie, this is the day, we're gonna do it, set it up, and reach out to these people to set up the times and everything else.
Perfect.
And so,
And maybe not do the interviews in this room, because they won't come back, because it's so hot.
yes, we could do that, yes.
Yeah, maybe we could do the interviews somewhere else.
Yes. That's not a bad idea. And,
They'd be like, you guys are great, but it's hot.
yes.
Well, I'm confused. Is there any forward motion in getting the situation fixed, at least on the agenda, so it's before our kids and students and teachers return back to school?
Well, let's circle back to that. Let's, right now, just take care of this if we can, and then we can.
All right, so we've
Circle
got the
back to that.
criteria. You're going to send us the names that meet the criteria, and we're going to send you,
You can give feedback.
we're going to give feedback, and then next up is the questions we're going to ask them, yes?
Well, we need to vote to have me appointed as the point person.
Oh,
Yeah.
I move that you are the point person to go through and see who meets this criteria that we just voted on.
Second.
All in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Also aye. 'Cause
So we could venture off a little bit and talk about air conditioning, and before we get to the questions. And apparently, that from what I understand, it was voted at town meeting. Apparently, not enough money was voted at the last town meeting. The costs are significantly higher because it went out to bid, and so it has to go back to town meeting again. That is what I've been told or explained. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything else.
I have not heard anything else. However, I am wondering if whoever, so it was out to bid, did we choose someone and they gave us the final quote, or it was not chosen? Do we know?
I don't think it was chosen. I only got some information this afternoon.
Because
And,
if we have to wait until town meeting, which is I think in September, is it possible, because I know these things are like invoiced out, like it's not like we have to pay them before they show up. Is it appropriate to say, hey, we need you to come and fix our air conditioning so that our kids aren't roasting at the end of August and into September, and we're going to get the money at town meeting, but we know you're not going to invoice us for a couple months anyway, so can we just pay you then?
We might not get the money at town meeting.
I think that's the tricky
That-
part,
that-
is
that's the
whether or not
tricky
they'll
part. Yeah,
approve
you
it.
can't spend money that hasn't really been appropriated yet, so,
Approved.
yeah.
Well, we have money in the budget, as explained by Andy.
Yeah, I
that could-
have no idea how
But
much it
the
was
problem
presented
is
to
with
cost.
a capital thing like that, you just can't take, well, let's take
Right.
I know it's a
money
capital
out of this
expense.
account and
Right.
put it into that account, or to pay for that, because it technically is a town responsibility. It's maintenance, it's school
Is it
upkeep.
possible to get like Stuart and Andy and a couple of other people in this room?
We
Like
can- we
bring
can
them
ask.
here?
We can
And be
ask.
like, hi,
We can
we'd
ask.
like you to meet us here in this library, and we would like
We can
us to
ask.
talk about how we can get this fixed for our students.
We can ask.
That'd be great.
Is it appropriate for me to send an email in the middle of a meeting?
No, I should.
Okay.
I was going to say that should come from the chairman.
All right. I'm going to defer that to you then. Because I'm happy to fire off an email. I love doing that.
Okay, now we move on to old unfinished business. We've already discussed the questions for the interim superintendent interviews. Those questions came down, and I will read them only because they differ a little bit from what we did at the last meetings. They're, in the sense that
Yes.
the idea is there, it's just some of the wording's changed. So therefore, I will read it so that it's, this is exactly what we're going to do. We can vote on exactly what we're going to vote on.
And I will read it myself
3.
here as you go through to make sure all of this is accurate so that we can then send that off and say this is the final copy.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 1, how would you approach an interim superintendent position differently than a permanent superintendent position, if at all? Now, if anybody has any comments or they want to change a word or something, feel free. Because, number 2, it is well known that teacher, para, and substitute shortages have been more common in schools across the country. Have become more common, and schools across the country are struggling to put qualified people in front of students. Our school district is no exception. In fact, our high school has been notorious for warehousing several classrooms worth of students in their library for full instructional periods because there is no one to teach them in their classrooms. Do you have the skill or creativity to try and get these students back into productive classroom and not just babysitting? Explain how you would have addressed staffing shortages of this nature in the past. Number 3.
I changed number 3, so I'm going to read it. What assessment protocols have you used in the past to evaluate administrators' performance and achievement results? How will you hold administrators accountable in your tenure here?
Number 4, our special education services have been called into question quite a bit. We have an audit, and we have had an audit, and we have important reviews from the state coming up. What do you bring to the table to help us make sure we are providing the correct services to the correct students day 1 of this school year and to prepare for these reviews? Number 5, as you become more aware of how things have been going for our staff the last year or so, what message do you have for them in your initial meeting? Number 6, culture is one of the most important aspects of any place of employment, but is also one of the hardest to change. Add to that this community tends to be made up of mostly people that either will go through our schools, are going through our schools, or have gone through our schools. How have you approached the WARE school culture in the past, and how do you see yourself approaching it and where? Number 7, nepotism is a problem in many schools. Have you addressed this issue in the past, and do you think you should address it, if needed, here in the same way, even as an interim? Number 8, even as interim, you will need to establish and enforce policy. How do you see yourself addressing resistance to change in this short time?
So real quick, if you don't mind stopping there.
Yep.
I'd like to see that change just very slightly. So
Number 7 or number 8?
Number 8, establishing procedures and enforcing policy, because the superintendent doesn't necessarily establish policy. They recommend policy changes to our board,
Correct.
but they don't actually do the establishing of the aforementioned policies. So,
Right.
Establish procedure.
I mean, they obviously have a preferred way of how they would like things done, right? So,
Even as interim, you will need to establish procedures and enforce policy.
Yep.
How do you see yourself addressing resistance to change in this short time?
Yep.
Great.
Does that say the same thing?
policies are
We
different
just
than
added the word
procedures.
procedure,
Yeah.
because we make policy,
Yes.
they don't.
They have their own procedure manual, we have the
Sure.
policy.
Exactly.
What experience and qualification, number 9, what experience and qualifications do you have to complete the NEAS accreditation currently being done at the WARE Junior Senior High School? Number 10, how would you make HR protocols transparent regarding qualified candidates, evaluation tools, discipline, complaints, etc.? 11, our community is highly invested in our schools How have you engaged with communities in the past? How will you introduce yourself to the community and maintain connections? How will you make yourself available to the community? 12, what skills and experience do you have developing budgets and prioritizing spending? 13, how will you prioritize the various issues that need to be addressed here at WARE? 14, why are you applying for an interim superintendent position? What personal objectives or goals do you have as an interim in this short time? And 15, what experience do you have working with unions? Can you share a time when you would need to compromise on a key issue? When you needed to compromise on a key issue?
One more question was added based on some feedback from the community. Number 16, what is your approach to stabilizing morale during leadership transitions?
Be all right?
Julie, you good with those?
I'm good with them, yes.
Okay, we'll add it.
All
So,
right. Who am I going to send this to?
send it to Katie. This way it can be, actually send it to everybody so they have the updated, and send it to Katie so that she can make sure it's in our packets for when we do interviews.
Do we need to formally vote on that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm just getting it ready.
So we need to vote on making these our official questions. Any discussion? We're good? Do we have a motion to, I'll make the motion, to accept the questions that we have put forth and agreed to for determining an interim superintendent during interviews. Do we have a second?
Second it?
All in favor? Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
No.
Aye. All right, that is sent.
What is people's availability for interviews? Say as early as next week.
I'm out of town till August 10th.
My sister and her family are coming to town as well, but I know that this is important, so if it needs to happen while they're here, I can sneak away for a couple of hours, but it can't be like an all-day thing.
And I'd be in another state.
And I'm wide open.
How many people do we need?
I will be here.
We need a quorum.
So 3?
3.
So if I can make it
I
happen.
have reached out to Aaron. He's wasn't able to make it tonight, and I'm waiting for his response as to what his availability. I guess the next question would be, do we want to do all these in one night?
I would like to get them done in one night, yes.
Okay.
Let's see why not.
Do we want to wait until Julie's back in town?
I feel like that gets us really close, because isn't the first day of school the 25th?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, I mean, if she's back in town the 10th, that does give us 2 weeks. I am actually out of town the 12th, 13th, 14th. So that leaves the 11th is the only day. So if we want to do it earlier, like I said, I can sneak away if I need to.
I mean, my input is limited, as you know, so, I mean, I would only be taking part in asking the questions and listening to their responses and answers. I won't be taking part into the actual voting process, so that's up to you guys.
Let's do it.
And I was going to say, I'm wide open. Just reiterate that. I will make it happen. I will be here.
So do we want to do it next week? Is the question.
Sure.
How does the 6th sound?
Possibly. And I say that because we need to, posting's not a problem, but we need to make sure that Katie has to reach out and arrange the interviews. Should be able to do that.
When are you picking the final 3 or 4, however many candidates?
I will probably,
Well, there will be only a certain number of candidates who who meet that criteria, right?
Correct.
Like, that's a pretty narrow scope, so.
What if we
I
offer
can,
this?
I can have it done tomorrow, but you may get it at, and I'm not being funny when I say this, you may get it at 1 o'clock in the morning, but tomorrow. I can.
What if we offer the 6th
And then that way
and
I
the
can get
11th?
everybody's input, and I would,
August 6th is a selectmen's meeting. They moved it from Tuesday to Wednesday.
Oh.
okay. Yeah, but it can be recorded, correct? Can we record?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks, Stanley.
Why
Or
don't
do we
we
just bump
offer,
it a day?
because it's going to be multiple schedules, so it's possible that some of them can't come on the 6th.
Right.
So if more people can come on the 11th, why don't we offer the 6th and the 11th? And just see how it shakes out.
We can. So either the 6th. Or the 11th, but we'll do them all at once.
Yes.
That's the thought. Okay. And have discussion that night to decide on a candidate to
Yep.
hire?
That'd be executive session,
No, it's an open.
open session?
At that point, we can talk about people. But
Okay.
until then, we can't talk about people with their names in an open meeting. It all has to be done in an open meeting. The interviews will be in an open meeting, and then we can discuss in an open meeting our feelings towards, the various people, and at that point, either delay it for another meeting, or we can make the decision that night. And then, of course, it's pending everything coming back. It's pending a contract being developed, which we'd have to meet on to approve, but it's also pending, verification on the licenses and degrees and references and all the other stuff that comes with it. And that way, we would have that before we would vote on a contract. So that gives plenty of time to,
This is a little bit of a side note. If we wanted to call one of the references, does that go through you and you just kind of tell us what they say?
I will find out, because I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let me know
If
on
we
that
want
one.
to check our own references, I do want to caution everybody about Googling too much. And there's a legal reason for that. That's all. So we'll look at looking at the 6th and the 11th, which is
Yes.
good, because the 6th might be too early for people, because you figure basically we'll be calling them on Friday, and that might be kind of tight to put everybody together, or if we have to split it. But we will get that being worked on,
Great.
so we can do that and move on to finish that up.
I see this in the packet, but not on the agenda. Did you want me to speak to this at all? Or is this just for us to have to review?
That was for us to have right now.
Okay.
She was putting together some stuff, and we will deal with that.
So make sure you look at this for next time so we can...
Yes.
I took another stab at the dress code thing. There's a diagram. Talk about
Are we
that
still
later.
gonna have a
Oh,
meeting
that's
so
why she
that,
put it in, is because you had sent it to me, and I sent it to her to send out to everybody, so everybody would have it.
Got it.
So that's why it's in there.
are we still doing a meeting when school starts to get input from teachers and students? Thought we talked about that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Perfect.
It's great if everything starts on the first day of school. That's probably not an obtainable goal. We're close, but to start to, I think it was Scott that mentioned something about one of either the cell phone or the dress code of starting the second quarter or something. And so, not the worst thing that can happen. At least it's being done. It's being taken care of.
Yes.
And we're addressing it. Next thing is comments and concerns of citizens. The same usual 15 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay.
Liz Musnicki.
Maybe there's a good reason why we keep the library hot when it comes to this part.
I am a resident of WARE. I just have two quick things. Obviously, the AC situation in this school I know has been an issue since I've now had 2 kids graduate, and it was an issue when they were here. And it's very important, obviously. I just wanted to point out, if you're looking at future projects, that the middle school is not air conditioned at all. So possibly something to look into in the future. The cafeteria is, the computer lab is, and I think the main office. So this is how we start the school year, and I'm just throwing it out there in the future. The second thing is, I know that you're seeing a real time crunch with getting this interim superintendent in, because as you know, the calendar states that teachers and staff are back on the 21st and students are back on the 25th. I have had a lot of feedback about that being even more early than usual. Like, we know that we go back before Labor Day. So maybe thinking about this next year when putting the calendar together. I do know that the WTA president, which I'm not saying will be me, does get some input into it. But just thinking, even if we were to push it into the next week, we could still be back before Labor Day. We're still getting out relatively early, but we're not going back on August 21st, which is very early.
Yeah.
That's all.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I was a little
Thank
surprised,
you.
too, that it was this
It's my
early.
daughter's birthday, and she's like, "You've never had to go to school." It's early, but thank you.
Thank you.
Just Verona, I just wanted to ask, is the audit going to be put out soon? I know our tax dollars went to that, and I'm just wondering if there's any feedback and what's going to happen with the audit that was done.
The audit's already...
The
The
investigation?
investigation, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Okay. That is complete, and it will be at a future meeting. I'm not stonewalling or anything, it's just, right now, this is taking a lot, I'm not complaining, it's taking a lot of time. I think it's very important, it's extremely important. And there are things that keep coming up as to how we can do the meetings. They have to be open, they have to be posted, we have to, some of the things we changed from previous as far as the criteria and stuff, we had to come up with that and make it a little more stringent. So it's just been, it's involved a lot of time, and I know I sound like a broken record when I say this,
But it'll be
but
out
he's
soon.
gone. And yes,
Okay.
it will be, but I think it's very important, and like the previous speaker said, we're going to school off early. It's very important to have someone here the day that we have kids and teachers and everybody back in the building. I think it's important, because then it becomes, if we don't prioritize it, the way I look at it, I'm speaking for myself, we don't prioritize it and we don't have someone that can lead us and change things and get us back to where we should be, then we probably would have a tendency to drag this out. In other words, well, we got to take care of this, this, and this. We'll go another meeting or another 2 meetings before we finalize this. This way, if we put all our energy, which we have been, on this, we get someone in, someone that can take care of, because things are cropping up. Things are cropping up, and it's like, okay, now what do we do? Or who's going to handle this? Fireworks cropped up, and it's like nothing had been taken care of, but it got taken care of. That will occur, God willing, with the weather. But there are some other things that have cropped up that are being taken care of, and so this is important. It's very important. I understand your concern, and I understand what you're saying, but this has been very time-consuming. It's something that has to be done. It's necessary, and it is being done, and we need someone that can lead us on a full-time basis, not a part-time basis. And we will, and we will get there. We will get back to where we should have been, could have been, need to be, and I should save my speeches, the long ones, for next year when it's time to run for governor, right? So we'll cut it out right now, because I don't even want to look at the temperature in this room. And So, that being said, communications, nothing. Other business, nothing. I think we covered everything. And only because there's a glare on the clock.
7:12.
I make a motion to adjourn at 7:12. Do we have a second?
Second,
All
third,
in favor?
fourth.
Julie?
Jinx.
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good evening.